I'll come on into the pre-show before the free show.
You know what you need, Pickle?
What?
You need some delicious community coffee.
I do need some coffee. I've had coffee this morning, but I need more.
Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. I'm Greg, that's Ashley, on a Monday. A cool Monday. When I went for my run this morning, it was legit chilly.
Mm-hmm. It felt great outside.
It was really nice. Knock on wood, we may actually be done with summer. Although this may also be
to get up to the 90s every day this week.
Fraudum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
last week was nice because it only got up to like the upper 80s maybe.
Again, I'm okay with fraudum, okay? Because that means that it's like, if it's 90, that's what we signed up for. Mm-hmm. What I don't want is we can't be in the hundreds anymore. Like, that's done. Yeah. That's banned. You're canceled. 100s.
Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
You're canceled. Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. Pickle played golf this weekend with your dad.
I did.
At a luxurious course. I've played that course.
It was not luxurious.
Will you just go along with this?
Okay.
A luxurious course. I have a question about church.
Okay.
Which is a dangerous way to start a sentence. Mm-hmm. So we went to church on yesterday. That was Sunday. That's the day you go to church.
Correct. And
3 rows in front of me was a woman wearing a CeeDee Lamb jersey.
Oh, that rules. Jesus approves.
Now, I want to be clear. I'm not gatekeeping your faith. And I'm certainly not gatekeeping, like, what you wear to church. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a time where what I wore to church yesterday, which was jeans and a button-down, my dad would have been like, absolutely not. Go put on some slacks.
Yeah, that's more like a youth group, like a Wednesday night type of dressing.
Absolutely. But I wore, like, a button-down and jeans and some Air Force Ones to church yesterday, right? So I'm certainly not here to gatekeep that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. However, how do we feel about the Cowboys jersey, or let's just say sports jersey in church?
Well, as long as it's a Cowboys jersey, she needs to keep wearing it every single week.
What if it was like a 49ers jersey?
Yeah, then I would be indifferent about it. No, I just think it depends on the church that you go to, honestly, because there are plenty of like non-denominational churches at this point that like that's supposed to be the vibe.
It's turbo
of like,
cash.
Hey, yeah, we do not care what you look like, who you are, where you live. Just come and love Jesus in any jersey that you want. Then there's the church, and I'm assuming, go to Catholic church.
I do go to mass.
Is a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like.
A little formal.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, like, let's be real. It's a little bit more formal, and it's like,
Yeah, I think if you go to one of the normal, more old school churches, that's Church of Christ, a Catholic church, a Baptist church, like that's a lot more probably you're dressing up a little bit more, at least buttons or a dress at some point, I think if you're going to like a non-denominational church, that's fine.
It was just really interesting, like the disparity between, and certainly, again, wear what you want to wear, practice how you want to practice. But like my wife was legit concerned about what Max, our 1-year-old, was going to be wearing to church. Like she was like, are these shorts, we're letting him wear shorts, are these shorts dressy enough? Was a sentence that came out of her mouth as we were laying out clothes on Saturday night. And then, like, to walk in, and it's just, like, number 88 sitting, like, 4 rows in front of us.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And now, look.
Yeah, I guess I would be a little shocked to see that in a Catholic church, like a more traditional Catholic
It was
church.
surprising, I'll admit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Cowboys did cover.
I was just going to say, change the narrative. I hope CD's back in that pew right in front of you next Sunday.
So, I mean, and
CD had a great game.
My wife grew up in St. Louis. I think people know that. And grew up Catholic. And there was, when they had the Rams, right? When they had the Rams, remember that? Mm-hmm. Their pastor was like their Monsignor was like a really big Rams fan. And so, like, on Sunday, like, if they had a noon kick, you better believe he was flying through mass. He's like, come on, we're in and out. Let's go. We got places to be. Stuff like that. Kickoffs at noon. So, yes. I just think that I hammered, as soon as I got home, and I hammered Cowboys minus 8.5. So.
It worked.
Thank you, Lord. Hit the theme expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a show with a copious amount of courage. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, all the places, or also on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, friends. I don't know if I'm low or not.
Are you low?
I don't know.
Everyone in the comments tell Pickle if she's low. Today is Monday, September 18th, 2023. I did not look up how many days Thanksgiving. 66 days until Thanksgiving. Happy 25th birthday to Christian Pulisic. Do you know who he is?
No.
Oh, come on. Pickle! We're turning you into soccer, Pickle.
Oh.
That's the really good player for the United States men's national team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did he play on FC Dallas?
No. That was
one.
Jesus Ferreira.
Okay.
Jesus Ferreira and also El Tren.
I tried.
Anyway, it is episode 1652. I appreciate you trying.
Yeah.
On today's show, folks, big show. We got Monday Morning Fallout. We're going to overreact to the football weekend. Plus a play of the week that you literally will not believe. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of the unbeaten, state-ranked, spoiler, Houston Lamar Texans.
Give it away.
Coach Michael Lindsay will join us. They were state-ranked last week, and then they won, so they didn't drop out after a win. The Houston Lamar Texans are 4-0 thanks to their coach, Michael Lindsay. We will hear from Coach Lindsay coming up here in a moment. In the back half of the show, we're going to unveil the Week 5 Dave Campbell's Texas Football statewide Texas high school football rankings coming off of a big, wild, and woolly Week 4 of the Texas high school football season. So stay tuned for all of that fun. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Randy Savage, Ed McElroy, Tanner Solis, and Aaron Arbuckle. Welcome in, fellas.
Dig it.
Yeah, that rolls.
All right. Pickle is a big week of football across the state of Texas, and there's only one way to wrap it all up. Hit the air raid siren for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout. When we overreact to the football weekend, it's your weekly gallimaufry of nonsense as we sort through a weekend full of results across the state of Texas on the football field. We'll start with my opening thought. My opening thought is, well, now we know. There's such a sophomoric feeling this time of year. And by sophomoric, I don't mean like immature. I mean the actual meaning of the word sophomore, which is wise fool. We feel like we know so much, and yet actually there's a lot of teams that we really don't know a ton about. By the way, there's still a number of teams that we think highly of that may end up in our state rankings that we still may not know a ton about. But I think what we experienced over this past weekend in the Texas high school football world was a number of teams that we finally got a good, sturdy, take-it-to-the-bank data point on. I'll give you an example. The Gunner Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into this week, to be frank, we just didn't know anything about them.
No.
They'd played 3 teams. They were a lot better than all 3 of those teams. okay. Right? Then week 4 rolls around, and Brock rolls into town. And this was our first real data point for Gunner. And the first real data point is very good. They dominate Brock.
It was
plain
shocking,
and simple.
like shocking.
Throttle them. Probably not as close as the score indicates. What did it, 35-12 was the final, something like that?
Yeah, no, they were up 28-0 in like the second.
Yeah.
I think it was. We legitimately like had that game pulled up, and we're like, oh, let's go check into Brock, and we were like, oh my god.
No, like, left no doubt. And to me, now we know about Gunner. We had an inkling. We thought. Now we know. Same thing goes for Newton. Newton was a team that kind of through no fault of their own, we didn't have any data points on. Mm-hmm. Week 1, they were supposed to play Anahuac. Game got canceled because of wildfires. Week 2, they play Woodville. Fool around a little bit, but ended up winning the game. Week 3, they had an open date. So they were 1-0 entering their big game against West Orange Stark. And they roll out there, and the offense explodes. And the offense looks like one of the fastest offenses in Texas. Newton, we get a good data point on them. We thought, now we know. Bernie's another example. Bernie's interesting because we did have data points on them. And not all the data points were necessarily positive. You remember a little bit earlier, they took a loss, and we were like, uh-oh. Like, suddenly we were like, uh-oh, what's wrong with Bernie? Like, are they going to be able to fix things? And especially considering they were without their starting quarterback, Jackson Bays. They turn to the freshman, Hank Hendricks. And all they do, remember they lost to Flower Bluff in week 1, and all they do is hang 50 burger on Gregory Portland and beat them 50-22.
Who we were really high on.
Absolutely, a 5A team. That may be an example of taking what we thought we knew and getting alternative data. 2 other ones that spring to mind, maybe in a lesser extent, but Mart. We do not get a lot of data points on Mart, just plain and simple, because they have a hard time scheduling teams in their weight class. But this past week, we got to see them play Centerville. And again, we have to cherish this because we're probably not going to see them get challenged in any sort of meaningful way for another 8 months. Not 8 months, 8 weeks.
I was like, man, that's a long season.
Like, they'll play Dawson here in week 10. That'll be their biggest test until we get to like the state semifinals. But they go out there and they beat Centerville 36-21. That is a legit good win for Mart. We thought, now we feel like we know. Last one that I would put on there is Toller. Mm-hmm. Toller was a team that we had big concerns about. Remember, they're coming off of, we didn't really know what to make of that loss to Dallas Christian. They're without Peyton Brown. They're starting running back. What exactly are they going to look like punching up against a good Comanche team? Now, Comanche was without Sawyer Wilkerson, but I'll tell you that Toller did not look any worse for the wear. As they go out there and get a big win over Comanche, a nice bounce-back win. To me, they are who we thought they were. And that is an example of us getting data points from teams that data points are kind of hard to come by sometimes. But now we feel like we have a better idea on who these teams are. That's my opening thought. Game of the week has to be.
Yeah, there was no question.
Salina 42, Anna 40 in 4 overtimes. This game was bananas. Mm-hmm. Anna looked like they were going to run away with it.
That was another reaction that we had, just like the Brock and Gunner score, where we're like, oh my God, they're destroying them.
Just run away from Salina. But Salina claws back a huge third quarter, dominates the third quarter, get this thing to overtime, and another overtime, another overtime, another overtime. We have to share it, courtesy of our friends at WFAA. The fourth overtime and the win for Salina was certainly a pretty memorable moment.
Salina with the first crack at it. Porter rolling near side, fires, end zone complete. 2 more for Salina. Colton Rodriguez with the catch.
Just simple catch, and you go to Colton Rodriguez, someone that I've been saying this entire game, he has played his tail off on defense, has had an impact on this game offensively, and he goes in and he gets the score.
Williams in shotgun. He's going to try and run for it. Nowhere to go. Williams stood up. Salina with the stop, and the Bobcats win it.
cream to the green of the field.
Absolute pandemonium here at Bobcat Field. Salina 42-40 victors as Zyandre Williams is stopped in the fourth overtime. Anna can't match on the two-point conversion, and the Bobcats get the win.
What has to be a cathartic win for Salina after losing twice to their rival last year. They come from behind and get a big win. Huge, huge victory, and it had to be the game of the week. Am I overreacting?
Yeah, I don't think so on this one.
Is Rice actually pretty dang good? Okay, so let's be clear. They're better than Texas Southern, okay?
Yes.
Texas Southern is 0-3. They're an FCS team. Like, I get it. But Rice is now coming off of 2 really impressive performances.
What was it? 59-0 or 59-7?
59-7.
7.
And it was yeah.
When have you seen Rice dominate a team like that?
I'm telling you, JT Daniels, the JT Daniels retirement tour.
Yeah.
Like it might be working. And their defense, here's the other thing. The difference for me in watching Rice, because I did watch a decent amount of this game because I'm sick. Rice looks fast. Mm-hmm. For the first time in a while, Rice looks really fast. And I don't know. There's something cooking there on South Main. I'm wondering if Rice is actually pretty dang good. They just won the city of Houston, beat Houston and Texas Southern in consecutive weeks. They own the city of Houston. It's time for the Dudes Rock Dude of the Week. Hashtag Dudes Rock is where you get it. Or hashtag Dudes Rock Dude of the Week.
It's just the Dude of the Week.
Is PSJA North quarterback Alejandro Aparicio.
This dude does rock.
And perhaps you're thinking, wait a second. I was under the impression that he was done for the year. Girl, same.
Yeah.
The reports we had was that he had suffered a relatively serious injury and he was not going to be able to play. Mm-hmm. So imagine our surprise when he shows up last week against McAllen. Mm-hmm. And
I thought the tweet was wrong.
threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for another touchdown, and caught a touchdown pass. We'll talk about down the road about their big game this week against Vela, but there is no doubt that the hashtag Dudes Rock Dude of the Week is Ali Aparicio from PSG North. Dudes Rock.
He does rock.
Dudes Rock.
He rocks.
Time for Tepper's Play of the Week. Okay. This got sent to me.
Hold on to your butts.
This got sent to me. This is from the Waco Live Oak versus Gordon game. Okay? It's a 6-man football game, non-district game. This is game's in Waco. And if you don't know where Live Oak is downtown. It's in like downtown Waco. It's like right near the silos, actually. Got a field tucked away right there. So Gordon, state-ranked Gordon, goes into Waco Live Oak, gets an important win. But instead of any of the touchdown passes or any of the big defensive plays, Pickle, let's go to Gordon kicker Juan Cabrera's extra point. Kick is snap back, kick is up, and it's good. And that's right. Into the window. I slowed it down here. Watch this ball. And hello, right into the passing car window. A legit 1 in a million shot.
That rolls.
Juan Cabrera from Gordon. The only way to describe it, a trick shot extra point.
Yeah.
Fires it into the window, the open window of a passing car in downtown Waco.
I wonder if the car just kept driving. Like, did they stop and give the ball back?
Yeah, I don't know, because Gordon probably only has like a handful of kicking balls, right?
Yeah.
They probably need that one back. So if you have that ball, please bring it back to Gordon. Juan Cabrera from Gordon.
A sentence I didn't think I would hear this morning. If you have that ball, please bring it back to Gordon.
Tepper's Play of the Week had to be the Gordon kicker, Juan Cabrera. Quick break for a hot take. The road for a repeat will be tougher for DeSoto this year. So DeSoto had all eyes on the big game between Waxahachie and Cedar Hill this past week, because if Cedar Hill had won, there was a decent chance that DeSoto was going to go to the Division I bracket. Did not happen. Waxahachie won. DeSoto, barring something really strange, is going to go to the Division II bracket and defend their title. I'm here to tell you that I think Region 2 is tougher than it was last year. Specifically, there are 3 teams that I think are capable of giving DeSoto problems. I think Tomball Memorial is a problem. I think Pflugerville-Weiss is a problem. And I think Willis is a problem. Let me tell you something, guys. Willis is the real stinking deal.
They do not just have the quarterback. Like, they have a lot of weapons.
You are spot on. They are much more than just DJ Lagway.
Their defense is looking good.
There's a lot to like about this Willis team. And I think Region 2 in Division 2 as a whole is going to be a lot stronger. Make no mistake about it, DeSoto's still the favorite. Clear favorite. But the road's going to be tougher for DeSoto this year. That I'm confident in. Time for a hunt of the week. Speaking of Houston, Katy Cinco Ranch 38, Katy Tompkins 28.
Tompkins is having some problems right now.
This turns District 19 6A really on its head. We thought we had a pretty decent feel for Tompkins, right? Hey, huge win in week 1 over Cy Ranch. Heartbreaking loss in overtime to Bridgeland, and then you go to Katy, right? And okay, yeah, you're gonna get housed by Katy. Katy owns that district, right? But we're like, okay, still probably the second best team in that district. Cinco Ranch had just gotten done losing 11-7 to Katy Taylor, and so the computer had Tompkins by 30 in this game. And Cinco Ranch goes out there and hands him a 38-28 win. That turns District 19 6A basically behind Katy into a free-for-all. It's going to be a weird district there in District 19 6A after Cinco Ranch beats Tompkins. Keep an eye on that one. That's my hunt of the week. Now it's time for our wild stat of the week. We need to talk a little bit about Midwestern State. So Midwestern State
Not looking good.
played West Texas A&M in their Lone Star Conference opener this past week. And West Texas A&M came away with a 27-0 victory. Okay? Great win for West Texas. That is the first time Midwestern State has been shut out since 2006. Okay? In the second round of the playoffs to Northwest Missouri. But hold on, Pickle. Here's your true wild stat of the week. That is their first regular season shutout loss since West Texas A&M 5, Midwestern State 0 on September 14th, 1996.
Wow.
27 years and 2 days between regular season shutouts. Midwestern State gets shut out on Saturday at the hands of the same team that did it last time, West Texas, and ends a 27-year scoring streak in the regular season for Midwestern State. That's your wild stat of the week. Now it's time for the real main event of this segment. It's the Matt Stepp, he got that dog in him, player of the week.
And now, the Matt Stepp. He got that dog in him. Player of the week.
This is Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football in front of Heroes Stadium with the Week 4 He Got That Dog in Him award winner, and that winner is none other than San Antonio Roosevelt running back Brennan Carroll. Brennan had 36 carries, over 200 yards rushing, and count them, four touchdowns to lead San Antonio Roosevelt to a huge district win over San Antonio Madison 28-24 here on Saturday afternoon. Congrats, Brennan. You, sir, have got that dog in you.
This has been the Matt Stepp He Got That Dog in Him Player of the Week.
Congratulations to Brennan Carroll.
The pick thing was good.
I'm going to keep making that dumber each week.
Yeah, you're doing a good job of it.
You have my attention. Hereford.
Yeah.
There's a group of teams. I tweeted a number of them last night. There's a group of teams that maybe you don't know are 4-0. Maybe one of them is Hereford. The White Faces are 4-0 in year 3 under Adam Nairn. And last week, they take on a 5A Amarillo-Tascosa team on the road, come away with a 26-14 win. Time to start paying attention to Hereford. Let me tell you this. They have the rare distinction. They have been, according to the computer, an underdog in all 4 of their games.
Oh, wow. That's
They're
interesting.
underdog to Caprock, underdog to Wichita Falls, underdog to Shallow-Water, underdog to Tascosa. And they're 4-0. Keep an eye on the white faces. They have my attention. Get excited for. It's Westlake Lake Travis week.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
Westlake Lake Travis going down Friday. We'll talk a lot about it over the course of the week. I'm sure we're going to talk tomorrow with Craig Way about it. But it's Lake Travis Westlake week. And state ranked. We'll see where they fall in the rankings, wink, wink, coming up here in a moment. But a huge game down there in Austin for rivalry purposes, for playoff purposes, everything purposes. Westlake and Lake Travis, massive game coming up Friday on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Finally, Pickle, my final thought. Let's appreciate coaching greatness while we're watching it. Larry Hill from Smithson Valley won his 300th game on Friday. Congratulations to Coach Hill with a good win over San Antonio Wagner, a game we had our eye on. Great win there. I was thinking about him, and I was thinking about watching Denny Faith. Albany got a big win over Hawley.
Yeah.
He's the 5th winningest coach in Texas high school football history. I was thinking about it when we were watching Gunner and Brock. Mm-hmm. Gunner's coach Jake Fizel with 2 more wins will reach 200. He will be the 4th fastest, or tied for the 3rd fastest in UIL history to 200 wins. He'll be if they win their next 2 games, he'll be 229.
That would be tied with Scott Surratt, right?
Tied with Scott Surratt. Think about that.
That's crazy.
So what I would encourage you is let's not wait until these guys retire. Let's acknowledge and appreciate the coaching greatness we're watching right now. It stretches far beyond those 3 guys, but those are 3 that certainly came to mind. And I think it's a prudent reminder here as we enter Week 5. And that is Monday Morning Fallout. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, we'll talk with the head coach of the 4-0 Houston Lamar Texans, Coach Michael Lindsay. But first, a word from these valued goods and services.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose, come on. Get on up. Oh yeah. Get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Pickle, number of teams across the state waking up 4-0 today. One of them is down there on Westheimer Road in Houston. Let's go to the hotline, Pickle, and welcome in the head coach of the 4-0 Houston Lamar Texans. It's Coach Michael Lindsay. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing great. I imagine you guys are having a pretty nice little Monday after a big win this weekend.
That's right. Weather's a little cooler and having a great day so far.
Excellent. I want to go back to this past week where you guys go on the road to take on Pasadena Adobe, come away with a 53-0 win. The 53 is impressive, but it's the nothing that really catches my eye. Your defense has been dominant this year, giving up just 34 points in their first 4 games. What has you most excited on the defensive side to the start of this season?
Well, I think we've got 10 seniors that are in that starting lineup on defense, and just knowing their level of commitment and dedication. You know, our secondary, they've been playing together for a long time, and really just a tight group. And then I think to go along with that, you know, we had to replace our linebackers from last year. And so our 2 inside linebackers were kind of question marks coming in, Brady McGee and Trevin Williams, and they've been just lights out. And then we added another kid in the rotation, Thomas Harrison, who's our player of the week coming off the bench last week. And they've just been filling gaps and reading keys and getting downhill. And they've just been tremendous. And, you know, we have a great group on D-line, as we always do, and they're playing extremely well to go along with other groups.
You know, it's funny because it has actually been a little bit since you guys were 4-0, simply because you guys always schedule such a difficult non-district schedule. I think especially this year with the game on the road at Clear Falls and the win in the game against the Woodlands. During this non-district period where you guys have played 4 pretty darn good teams and come away with 4 good wins, what do you think you've learned about your team over the course of this early stretch of the season?
Well, I think it's a confident group. You know, I think we learned going into the women's game that, you know, we were expecting to win. We really were confident in where we were at on both offense and defense. And so, you know, everybody after that game was like, wow, did y'all expect that? And I think the answer was, yeah, we did. We really felt good about our team and about that game. And so, you know, the last 2 games against Falls and Dobie, it's been kind of the same thing. And we haven't played perfect, but you know, we've got a good roster and a lot of kids that have been here for 4 years and playing well. And you know, it's player led. You know, the culture is player led. The kids are really holding each other accountable, and it's really fun to be in that kind of environment.
We're talking with Michael Lindsay, the head coach of the Houston Lamar Texans here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. Coach, there's so many different ways to go when talking about your offense. You've got a variety of different weapons, but it's hard not to notice Tristan Brown, the quarterback, or the wide receiver rather, who's been such a star for you guys. You know, the leading receiver on this team and kind of the go-to guy, even after last year where he was one of the better receivers in the Houston area. What is it about Tristan Brown that makes him special?
Tristan, he does everything really, really well, and he's so explosive. I mean, just having him have just a normal, regular touch of the ball with a short route, a screen, a sweep. I mean, he's really explosive. I mean, he's not the fastest kid in the state, but I don't know anybody that accelerates better than he does and runs through tackles and makes cuts. I mean, he's a threat anywhere on the field. He's a great kick returner. And then to go along with that, he's, you know, I don't know where he's at with the pancake battle with the offensive line, but he's put up some big time pancake numbers blocking downfield. I mean, he's had a highlight video of just devastating downfield blocks. And he's so fun to coach. He's just a great kid, great student in the classroom. And he's been, I tell everybody, and I'll tell him too, he's the best receiver I've ever coached. So
that's certainly saying something. You guys have had your fair share of talent down there at Lamar. You know, the other guy on the offense, the guy who's getting him the ball, is Jordan Reeves at the quarterback spot. This is a guy who missed a lot of last year due to an injury, but has come back and looked really good to start the year. What have you seen from QB1 so far this season?
Yeah, Jordan, he's been involved in our offense in different ways the last 2 or 3 years. catching, running, and of course he's been our backup quarterback before this year, and certainly come back from the injury last year. We weren't sure how he was going to respond, and he's really, he just has the it factor. I mean, he knows how to compete and play ball, and there's nothing too big for him in any kind of moment, and he's very aggressive throwing RPOs. He's a great threat to scramble. We certainly have our share of QB runs with him. And so he's a threat all over the field, but he's been distributing the ball very well, making great decisions, throws the long ball very well. And we've been doing a lot of, quick passes outside, and he's got great timing and accuracy on that. So I think he's 71% so far in the year passing, which is really high for us. So he's doing it all, and he's a great kid, great leader on our team, and kids love playing with him.
Michael Lindsay of Houston Lamar joined us here, Texas Football Today. Coach, you guys are 4-0, but it doesn't mean a whole lot if you guys don't go 5-0, because this week District 18 6A play starts. You guys are going to take on Houston Heights there at Delmar Stadium, 7 o'clock on Friday. I know you guys are in the lab working on the Bulldogs. This is a team that's probably better than their 2-2 record indicates. When you take a look at what you guys are going to be up against on Friday night, what do you see?
Yeah, the Heights is a very familiar team to us. It's turned into a really good rivalry. Coach Dixon does a great job, and we certainly have a lot of respect for them, and know they are a very good football team. They are very fast on defense and talented. Linebackers, you really stand out on film. They really swarm the ball and they attack. They don't sit back with their defensive schemes. They're very much going to be aggressive. On offense, they have playmakers. They have a pretty good offensive line. They have one of the best centers in the area, Big Frank. And so they're going to be a challenge. It's going to be a big rivalry game, and we're very excited about it.
He's Michael Lindsay. He's the head coach of the 4-0 Houston Lamar Texans. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the great start, and best of luck Friday night against Heights.
No problem. Thank you very much.
There he goes. Michael Lindsay, head coach of the Houston Lamar Texans. It's important to remember this. He is the second coach of the Houston Lamar Texans since 1984.
That's crazy.
Because Tom Nolan was there forever, but he took over for Tom Nolan, and they've won in his 5 seasons coming into this year. They've won 4 district championships, and I believe they only have 1 district loss in that time, back in 2020. This is a team that, again, they because they are, in my estimation, the best team in District 18 6A, they have to schedule tough to get prepared, because I think they're in a similar situation of like South Oak Cliff and some of these like elite Dallas ISD programs, Fort Worth ISD programs, where they have to schedule really tough to get challenged so that because when district play rolls around, they're going to be favored. Heights is probably their biggest test in district, and Coach Stephen Dixon's ball club, he mentioned that I think they're the second best team in that district, and so it will be really intriguing to see how much fire they come out with, because I'll tell you though, this defense is nasty, and they're going to be a problem. So keep an eye on that. Always enjoy talking a little HISD football. Coach Michael Lindsay there of Houston Lamar. We appreciate it this time. We're at Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, the exclusive reveal of the Week 5 Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football State Rankings. But first, a word from our friends we got to find out who the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominees are. Let's do it.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the TaxAct Texas Bowl, is proud to give the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award, presented by Kroger, to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each week, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. Congratulations to this week's 10 nominees. Fans, be sure to vote for the player you believe should be the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week at TexasFootball.com. Voting closes Friday at noon, with the winner announced shortly after on TexasFootball.com. Thanks to Kroger and the TaxAct Texas Bowl for their continued support of Texas high school football and the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award.
Alrighty, Pickle. One last thing to do today, because it's rankings time.
Ranking season.
This is when we unveil the Week 5 Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Associated Press Texas High School Football State Rankings. We have had the state's most respected Texas high school football rankings for years, and we have been the official rankings provider of the Associated Press since 2019. This is the exclusive place where you can find the official Texas high school football state rankings. Let's start with Class 6A, the largest classification in the Lone Star State, which is where you will find a variety of changes, most notably there at the bottom. The top 9 of the rankings are unchanged, but then there's a little bit of movement. Specifically, number 10 Denton Geyer drops out with their loss to Prosper. That moves everybody up, including now top 10 North Crowley. How about that? Big game. They got a big win over Fort Worth Pascal, 4-0, rolling. Humble Summer Creek up a spot. Cibolo Steel up a spot as well. A few other teams moving up, but we do have a few other teams that dropped out. Number 18 Fort Bend Hightower drops out, as does number 20 Midland Legacy with their lopsided losses. And moving back into the rankings, rather, the Rockwall Yellow Jackets back into the rankings there at number 23. They've got a big win over South Grand Prairie. Prosper, after a 1 week absence in the rankings, are back into the rankings at number 24. And Dripping Springs into the rankings at number 25. They improved to 2-1 with a win over Austin High. To 5A we go, Pickle. 5A, Division 1, boring. Every team either won or was idle. No changes, no notes, great work. Top 3 remains unchanged: Aledo, Longview, and Mansfield Timberview. Good job, guys. Keep behaving. 5A Division 2 is interesting because the top 7 were all winners or idle, and so they remain exactly the same. Melissa, Fort Bend, Marshall, Frisco, Emerson, Montgomery, Lake Creek, and Midlothian Heritage are your top 5. But then, complete calamity at the bottom. Number 8 Liberty Hill is out after their kind of shocking loss to Leander Rouse. Number 9 Wichita Falls Rider is out with their kind of lopsided loss to Lubbock Cooper. And number 10 Gregory Portland is out with their kind of lopsided loss to Bernie. In their place, after a 1 week absence, South Oak Cliff is back into the rankings after a throttling of Dallas Parish Episcopal. They're back in at number 8. Lovejoy rejoins the rankings with a really nice bounce-back win over Terrell. And new to the rankings, for the first time, the 4-0 Belton Tigers are state-ranked at number 10, joining the rankings after getting a nice win over San Angelo Central. Your 5A Division II rankings. To 4A we go. 4A did a little bit of shuffling. Salina's win over Anna caused us to make some moves. China Spring nudges back up to number 2. Bernie, nice win over Gregory Portland. They are now up to number 3. Salina up to number 4, and right behind them is Anna. They're dropping from number 2 to number 5. Kilgore up a spot to number 6. Brownwood up a spot to number 7. Lubbock Estacado, unbeaten, up a spot to number 8. Number 7, Kilgore, crashes out of the rankings, as does number 10, Kaufman. But in their place, how about the state-ranked Iowa Colony Pioneers? 4-0, big winners over West Columbia. State-ranked for the first time, I believe, in program history there at number 9. And Lavernia jumps into the rankings at 4-0 with a win over Geronimo Navarro. They join the rankings there at number 10. 4A Division 2 we go, where there's a little bit of movement, but specifically down at the bottom. The top 7 are all unchanged. Top 3 are Carthage, Silsbee, and Pleasant Grove, all big winners. One thing about Cuero, we are marking that as a win for Cuero. Here's the issue there. Cuero and Corpus Christi Calallen played to halftime before storms interrupted it. Cuero was up 22-14. There is a dispute between Cuero and Calallen as to whether or not this game is a no contest or not. When there is a dispute, this is the official stance of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, when coaches cannot agree, if the game reaches halftime, we go with the scoreboard. That's what we do here. Cuero gets the win. They are now 4-0. If the game had not made halftime, it would be a no contest. That is our stance here overall. So Cuero gets the win over Calallen. They are number 4. Wimberley rounds out the top 5. Number 9, Waco Connolly crashes, or number 7 rather, Waco Connolly crashes out of the ranking. Hampshire Finette nudges up a spot to number 7. Graham nudges up a spot to number 8 with a win over Iowa Park. Gilmer nudges up a spot to number 9. And into the rankings for the first time this year, the Madisonville Mustangs, a big winner over Caldwell, 63-0, to move to 4-0. To 3A we go. 3A Division 1, we did a little bit of shuffling because of Brock's loss to Gunner. As a result, they tumbled from number 3 to number 10. We're still believers in Brock. Think that they are one of the top 10 teams, but right now the resume isn't there. They will hang on to the spot in the rankings at number 10. As a result, everybody else nudges up a spot. Malakoff now up to number 3, Hitchcock up to number 4, Winsboro up to number 5, etc. Those are the only change there is Brock dropping to number 10. 3A Division 2, there's your headline. A new number 1 in 3A Division 2. The Gunner Tigers are your new number 1 team in 3A Division 2 after a resounding 35-12 win over Gunner. Canadian hadn't done anything wrong. They're still 4-0, but the resume for Gunner is too overwhelming to ignore. They get the number 1 spot. 2 teams crash out of the rankings. Number 7, Comanche, with their loss to Toller, crashes out, and number 8, Dangerfield, is out of the rankings. Troop and Poth nudge up to number 7 and 8, respectively, as the spots open up. And new to the rankings, number 9, Bells. Big winners this week over Pilot Point. They are up to number 9 into the rankings for the first time. Holiday rejoins the rankings with a 24-14 win over Childers. They are 3-1. To 2A we go. 2A Division 1. Got to do a little bit of surgery here. It's the same 10 teams, but we had to do some moving around. Toller's big win over Comanche vaults them back up to number 3, where I think they were last week before they lost to Dallas Christian. So, I don't know. It all kind of evens out. Cooper, big win over Collinsville. They nudge up 2 spots, as does Stratford, their win over Vega. Centerville loses to Mart. That drops them from number 3 to number 6. Hawley also loses. They lose to Albany. They drop from number 4 to number 7. Beckville remains the same at number 8. But Sonora and Crawford swap spots. Crawford was idle, but Sonora, now at 4-0, their resume is awfully impressive. They jump up to number 9, leapfrogging Crawford. 2A Division 2 now. There's only 2 real changes. Chilton and Collinsville swap places. They were number 4 and number 6. Collinsville's number 4. Chilton's number 6. Chilton gets a nice win over Hearn. That vaults them over to number 4. Collinsville loses to Cooper. That drops them from number 4 to number 6. Wellington had a weird game with Spearman, which didn't, in our opinion, warrant them moving up a spot. They remain the same at number 5. Number 10, Bremont crashed out of the rankings, and back into the rankings since dropping out is the Seymour Panthers. They get a big win over Quanah to rejoin the rankings at number 10. To the 6-man ranks we go. Knox City moves up to the number 2 spot, vaulting Abbott, again, simply based on the strength of their resume. They have one of the most impressive resumes in the state right now. They beat Rankin 77-32. That vaults them over Abbott to join the number 2 spot in the rankings. Whiteface jumps 3 spots with their win over Anton 60-0. They are now 4-0. Number 10, Spring Lake Earth crashes out. Rankin drops from number 6 to number 10 with their loss to Knox City. But new to the rankings at number 9, how about Aquila? 4-0, winners over a previously unbeaten Sydney. They join the rankings at number 9. To the 1A Division 2 ranks we go. Top 4 are unchanged. Benjamin, Oglesby, Jayton, and Cherokee, all winners. Klondike moves up a spot, as does Richland Springs. Newcastle's narrow loss to Jonesboro drops them from number 5 to number 7. And then we swap number 9 and number 10. Amherst, with their win over Spring Lake Earth, nudges them ahead of number 10, or now number 10, Rochelle, who got a good win over Lomita and is unbeaten, but Amherst's resume is more impressive at the moment. That is your top 10 in 1A Division 2. To the private school ranks we go, where we had to do a little bit of reshuffling. We had number 1 versus number 2 last week. Houston St. Thomas got a 10-point win over Austin Regents. We dropped Austin Regents from number 2 to number 5. Dallas Christian moves up a spot. Bel Air Episcopal, really impressive win over Fort Worth Nolan. We vault them 2 spots from number 5 to number 3. Lubbock Christian stays the same at number 4. In the private school 6-man ranks, everyone behaved. 5 teams, all winners. Pasadena First Baptist did win via forfeit over High Island, but your top 5 unchanged: Pasadena First Baptist, Fort Worth Covenant Classical, Austin Hill Country, Conroe Covenant, and Bastrop Tribe Consolidated. There they are, your Week 5 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football Rankings. You can find all the rankings at texasfootball.com/rankings, and as always, direct your comments to Ashley_Pickle12 on Twitter.
See, you can't do that if you're not going to get it right.
I forget you have an underscore.
I have to.
Why?
Because, well, I don't know. It made it different. I think Ashley Pickle was already taken.
Was Ashley Pickle 12 taken?
Yeah.
Savages. Anyway, Let's go over to Ashley Pickle. Ashley_Pickle12 for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
If you missed any of the college football stuff, the ROF had a really good episode of like a recap episode with Carter-ish, and Mallory yesterday. So check that out because it was a good listen.
Yes, go listen to that. It was a big week in college football. Texas won, A&M won, Tech won, Baylor won, but did not look good. TCU beat Houston. Texas State, I think, put up a program record number of points.
Yeah, they crushed Jackson State.
We mentioned Rice. They're looking pretty good. SMU got a huge win over they played an FCS team, and they rolled them. UTEP lost to Arizona. That was the last game in college football.
Was it?
Yeah. It kicked off like 9:30 Central.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think I would need to look over that. I don't have it in front of me. But anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Houston Lamar head coach Michael Lindsay for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.